Okay, we want to welcome everybody this evening to our local development council virtual meeting, August 18th. We'd like to thank everybody for being on. We have before us this evening the multi-year spending program. We will have to take a look at it. I trust that everybody did get a copy of the program, the spending plan, and we want to go over that this evening. And then I want to bring Walter Simmons in, who is with Employer Prince George's, so that he can kind of express to us how he will be utilizing the funds that have been granted. Has everybody gone over the plan, or do you have the plan in front of you, multi-year spending plan in front of you? Okay, well, let's go. Everybody's got it in front of them? I don't have it in front of me. I'm assuming so. Everybody is saying no. Okay, well, let's go over this.
Jeremy, can we just have them put it on the screen anyway?
Say it again.
And we have Ryan or someone put it on the
Ryan,
screen.
is it
anyway?
possible to put it on the screen?
Absolutely. Just give me one moment.
Okay. We'll, of course, require a vote on this, and then we'll be able to send it back to the county executive without comments or whatever we come up with, and we'll go from there. Also, if you had an opportunity to read Chairman Calvin Hawkins and his recommendations, he's recommending that we kind of have all of our comments back to him by May 1. However, that will require us to change CB 88. So we had some discussion about that on last week. So myself, Ryan, Chairman Hawkins, and Amber plan to meet sometime in the next week or so to discuss how we can bring that change so that we can not get caught the way we've been getting caught, but just only a couple of weeks to make a decision on how we do things. So we'll get back to you on that. But as soon as Ryan puts the multi-year spending plan up, we'll go over that real quick. I've asked Mr. Simmons from Employer Prince George's to come on, so he will talk about the monies that has been awarded to him and how he plans to use that before we vote.
I'm sorry, I'm having an issue here with being able to share my screen. The option for sharing is not coming up, so please give me a moment.
Okay, take your time. Delegate Valderrama, you look like you've been playing golf all day.
No, just keeping active during the interim.
Yes, ma'am.
I wish I could play tennis though.
Okay.
I had the chance to see went to City Open a couple of weeks ago and got to see my favorite, Rafa Nadal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he win that match?
He did. He won the first one. He lost the second one, unfortunately.
All right.
I'm not sure what the issue is here. I'm not able to, I have all the hosting capabilities, but I'm not able to share my screen.
Okay, well, I hope everybody has a copy of the multi-year spending plan.
Yeah.
I trust that you had an opportunity to go over it. But let's just run with the copy that you have in front of you. Let's just run down the plan for fiscal year 2022, 23, and 24. The net lottery returnable taxes for fiscal year 22 is $8,653,300. For 23, it's $8,991,300, and for 24, it's $9,136,200. So those are the totals. Now, according to CB 33/2015, 50% of that would go to education, which would represent $2,163,000 for 2022, $2,200,000 for 2023, $2,200,000 for 2024. And then you have a breakdown, of course, between Crossland, how much money is going to Crossland, how much money is going to Benjamin Stoddard, Oxon Hill Middle School, Thurgood Marshall, Hillcrest Heights, and this totals 50%. Oxon Hill Elementary School, Rose Valley, Apple Grove, Oxon Hill Middle School, Hillcrest Heights Elementary School, Allenwood Elementary School, and other educational expenses, which are zeros. So that totals $5,017,400 for 2022. For 2023, $5,130,200, and then for 2024, $5,375,100. Then we get into the police department. For the police department, you got it, Ryan? Okay, for the police department, for current staffing in District 7, for 2022, it's $855,500 for all 3 years for 2022, 23, and 24. And then we have, that's for 10 officers. And then we have fire, that's $767,000 for 10 officers or 10 firefighters for all 3 years. That's $767,700 for 2022, 2023, and 2024. Then workforce development, and Walter will talk to us about this after we finish taking a look at this. It's $473,700 for 2022, 2023, and 2024. And then we have scholarships for high school students at $200,000 for 2023, $150,000 for 2020. I'm sorry, for 2022, 2023, and 2024. Please stop me if you have any questions. Human Health and Human Services, there's zero for 2022, $175,200 for 2023, and $175,200 for 2024. Youth employment programs, $400,000 for all 3 years. That will execute touching 121 students for $400,000 for all 3 years. The local impact grants, and this is where you had a question, Senator Patterson. It appears that we're getting a little bit more money in 2022, 2023, and 2024, $850,000. And that they're guesstimating that illustrates 21 grants. And then there's also grant support for the community 2.5 miles northeast of the VLT facility. I'm assuming that's $125,000 for all 3 years. I'm assuming that is Forest Heights area.
That's correct.
Okay, thereabouts. And that's $125,000 each year for 3 years from 2022 through 2023. That totals $8,653,300, which is what the estimates are coming from the BLT taxes. And with that in mind, now I asked Walter to come on this evening with the workforce development. He's looking at $437,700 for 2022, 23, and 24. And I wanted him to give us some estimates of how he plans to use that money. As you noted, and I hope that you will get the chance to stop by to see what they have done with the construction. It is absolutely phenomenal what they've done with the site at Tangier. And I hope that we'll get past there to take a look at that. We also plan to try to get over there and take some pictures so that we can get up to speed on our website and just get more involved in what we're doing as a local development council. Walter, are you on, sir?
I am. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right.
Good
so,
evening.
Pastor Robinson, has everybody received the attachment that I sent over?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
No,
I
I'm
said-
sorry. I was under the impression that you sent that to Ryan. It's but no, I did not send an
Okay,
attachment
okay.
out to anyone else.
I'll make sure I send it when I get done presenting.
Okay.
so what, based on the numbers that Pastor Robinson discussed earlier, we are at the ending road of American Job Center, National Harbor Construction. We, due to COVID related issues in our supply chain, the last two pieces were the signage and smart boards. The smart boards will arrive in October. The smart boards will arrive in October. The signage will arrive at the end of August, which means that we'll open in September. As previously stated, I would like, as socially distance allows and as you all feel comfortable, to allow the LDC to come in on your own opening and tour for us to discuss this in person again, as those who feel comfortable. So Ryan and Pastor Robinson, we can start working on dates and times as the LDC sees best fit to see the actual center and see what we're looking at. And then we can send over pictures as well. On August 13th, we did a walkthrough with the prospective partners. In the document that you'll receive shortly, Goodwill of Greater Washington has tentatively agreed to provide occupational skills training and workforce development services. Make Smart Cool, which is a tutoring and educational service provider for Prince George's County students K through 12, will be providing afternoon tutoring and remediation services. Prince George's County Department of Social Services will be providing basic needs services. Prince George's County Public Schools, English for speakers of other languages, has requested that their main office allow them to occupy the space to register students and allow us to utilize a two-generation approach where they're providing services to the students and we're providing workforce development services to the parents, especially with a large piece of the apartment complexes being utilized. Collaborative Solutions for Communities, otherwise known as CSC, is a workforce development provider, a violence prevention service provider, if you've been monitoring the news, and they're a family support service provider. They will be able to provide the wraparound services and violence prevention services in the location. And Prince George's Community College has occupational skills training that they want to provide. They also want to offer their adult education services, which is the high school diploma for those who don't have a high school diploma because they currently don't have a location in Southern Prince George's County. Maryland State Department of Education, Division of Rehabilitation Services, who also doesn't have an office in this region of the county, wants to provide services for people with disabilities or differing abilities. And then Maryland Legal Aid will be providing pro bono legal services. One of the largest services are the expungement clinics, which we previously used to have once or twice a year at the Tree of Life because we didn't have a location for Southern Prince George's County, but now we'll have a lawyer there weekly to provide those services. And as of recent, along with expungement, the biggest service is eviction services for renters. So those are and those will be along with Employed Prince George's programs. We operate our 14 programs to be there. So those are the plans that we're making right now. Those partners did a tour on August 13th. How the funding that we receive from the local development council will ensure that we have a manager and an administrative staff member at the front desk to manage the day-to-day operations of the center. There will also be an adult career consultant there to engage with adults who were in the impact area who need intensive services, youth from the high schools in the area. Again, our goal is that people who graduate from Prince George's County Public Schools in the region within 90 days, if they're not on track for college or the military, that we are working to get them employed or in a workforce program within 90 days. And then all of the businesses in the impact area will have a business consultant to identify their needs, their job openings, and make sure that we try to match in impact area residents to those openings to ensure that residents in the area have access to jobs in the area if they choose, or if they're not interested in jobs in those areas, to connect them to employment opportunities in the region that match their interest. We also have funding, $51,000 allocated to an incentive to businesses. We provide grants to businesses who hire unemployed Prince George County residents. We have $42,000 for classroom training. Some of these trainings that some of the educational institutions that lead to a workforce development credential charge a tuition normally in the range of $3,000 to $4,000. We'll be using those costs along with other funds so that impact area residents don't have to pay the tuition for those programs. We're also going to have $27,000 allocated for adult and youth internships year-round and summer for those who lack the work experience, so we can supplement their wages, and hopefully after several weeks of them performing the job and doing well, the employer will then hire them, and the wages will be unsubsidized and covered by the employer. We also have funding. We receive a lot of requests for entrepreneurship training, so we'll run entrepreneurship cohorts. We have a veterans entrepreneurship program, a reentry entrepreneurship program, a youth entrepreneurship program that we will operate cohorts out of the job center. We have a normal $55,000 in facilities costs that is split between this grant and other grants. Then we have $10,000 we'll use for community engagement and outreach to make sure that the impact area residents are aware of the services available. This will be a mixture of in-person events, but also utilizing geofencing tools that allow us to run ads in streaming services on social media to notify people of the services. And then $50,000 in administrative costs, which handle all of the accounting, the contract writing, human resources, facilities, cleaning the facility, running the IT. There'll be internet. One of the pictures that you'll see posted recently, we have all of the mats installed. We have all of the computers installed, and the internet and alarm and security systems have been installed. So that'll run the administrative operations of the center. So again, you're going to be getting this report shortly. I'll forward it after I get off here. And our goal initially is to service about 4,000 to 7,000 people through this job center, but we believe we could eventually serve upwards of 10,000 people through this job center. When we open, we'll start being able to go down in these meetings to give you an idea of who we're serving, what are the demographics, what are the programs they're interested in, what are the services, and that'll allow us to see what the demographics and allow us to work on continuously improving the services and improving the outcomes to ensure that our adults that are unemployed secure employment. If they're underemployed, they can secure employment with higher wages and benefits. And then our youth and young adults who aren't on track for college or the military are put in a position in a program or in a job so that we can ensure they continue down the right track. So those are the services right now. I'm sorry, Pastor Robinson.
While you're talking, I sent it to Ryan while you were presenting. If you can send that out to everybody, we can kind of, if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead, but if anybody has any questions, they can take a look at it. The sheet is pretty self-explanatory on the MOU that you are trying to develop with the number of people that you've named. I think it was 8 of them: Maryland Legal Aid, Goodwill, and a few others, 6 others. So if you want to take a look at that before we get to the idea of voting on this, we can do that, have some discussion and any questions that you might have. Ryan, have you put that out yet?
Doing so now.
Yeah, Walter, I'm sorry. I was under the assumption that you sent that to Ryan as well as me.
No, my apologies. So that was it, Pastor Robinson. So we would like to, we operate on a kind of a WeWork shared space model. So we look to start with 8, but I believe we could eventually have up to 14 or 15 partners, and also looking at evening hours and weekend hours, again, to not only service the unemployed, but those who are underemployed and looking to increase their wages in the area. So I think we have a good opportunity to have a large amount of impact on youth and adults.
Okay, Delegate Valderrama had a question.
Yes, thank you, Pastor Robinson. Thank you, Mr. Simmons, for your audio presentation. Just a couple of quick questions. I know some of the numbers you threw out there. I think you said around 4,000, 7,000 to 10,000, hopefully. Are you speaking monthly, weekly? That's one question. My second was, I believe I went to the soft opening. We're talking about the location at Tanger Outlets at the end, parallel to the Polo Ralph Lauren store, correct?
You are correct. That's correct,
Okay.
Delegate.
Right. And then you ended by saying you were following a WeWorks setup. So I've been in that soft opening, and with all the vendors, and I'm just using vendors as the term, so forgive me, that's a lot of people. So if you say the WeWorks platform, so certain vendors at a number of certain days would be certain numbers of those folks, because I would imagine it would be really crowded there. I'm trying to envision it, because when I was there for the soft opening, it's a big room, but it's not that big. So I'm just trying to picture how that would be set up. So when you say WeWorks, is it certain days for certain vendors, or is it?
That's correct. Yeah, like that's correct. So some of the people won't be there 5 days a week, 40 hours. So what we want to do is, there's a lot of small service providers and nonprofits that you all actually fund, but they don't have concrete office space and training space. But they might only need it 2 days a week for two weeks out of the month. So we want to be able to provide that space. So what we do is, if there's another partner who needs it another 2 days, that's how we operate on the WeWork space. You'll see, it's been completely different. It's not that one big kind of warehouse space.
Right.
We've broken it out into 3 sections: a training section, a lobby, multi-use section, and then a staff office section.
Okay.
And so that's how we'll be able to move people around and do it in different sections and operate those staff.
Okay, so since you're sectioning it off that way, is that 7 days a week? If I missed it, is it 5 days a week, or how does that operate?
Our goal is to be open. If there is a partner, vendor partner, program partner that has a partner there that operates whatever day per week, we want to make sure that we have staff so that the residents who are accessing services through that partner can access those services. So we do want this to be, it's a job center, but we also want it to be a job center that serves as a community. In the chart, you see an education and workforce development access point, so that our the residents in the area can try to receive comprehensive services without having to leave that area of the county.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sims. Thank you, Pastor Robinson.
Okay,
And-
Delegate Valerie, I was there for the opening also. You'd be absolutely amazed at how they have put that space together. I would strongly
I
suggest all of
imagine
us.
they did a great job. It's just when I was there, it was just one big opening.
Yeah, one
so-
big long room, but
Yeah.
they have done, I've been over it about 20 times now.
Great.
Walter can tell you that, just to check on how things have been going, but you'll be absolutely amazed at how they have
Okay.
constructed the space and how it will be utilized. Delegate Turner?
And well, I didn't answer one question, Delegate
Okay.
Turner. The $3,000 to $4,000 is per course.
Per course. Okay, that was me who asked that. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Okay. Delegate Turner?
Reverend, I need to get off this call and I will get the rest of it from Senator Patterson, but I have an emergency I got to take
Yes,
care
ma'am.
of right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank
I
you.
have a question, Mr. Chair.
Okay, go ahead, Senator Patterson.
Yes,
Simmons, you're good. You good. You got it.
All right, let me thank you for the in-depth program. I am a little concerned about the scope of it. It seems like you're doing an awfully lot.
Shoot.
But I guess my question, the services that we are providing, are we providing those services only to Prince George's County residents, or are we doing Maryland-wide?
So the job center will be open to all Prince George's County residents and job seekers, but the intensive services, so paying for the grants for businesses, covering the tuition, paying for the work experiences and internships, will only be for impact area residents. So not even Prince George's County residents, only impact area residents.
Okay, good. That's what I want to hear. So the company that are getting consultant services, who are paying for that? Are those funds coming from the respective businesses, or those monies are coming from the local impact fund?
So the business services, all our services are free. Through the funding that we'll fund through the local development council, through that business consultant, the business won't pay any. That's what the business services will offer for free. And then the small business grants to hire the unemployed residents, they must be an impact area resident for that business to get the grant to cover them. The grants cover the first 12 weeks of the new hire salary. But again, the caveat is that new hire must be a resident in the impact area.
Okay. Do you have reports to reflect those businesses where they're located in the county or the state?
Well, when we open in September and start giving out the grants, we'll be able to give you details on the business, the resident, the job title, and even the wages per person that's hired.
Okay, very good. Well, that's for it, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, and thank you, Walter.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And, Dr. Lattimore?
Yes, hi, Mr. Simmons. So now that Delegate Roma told me where it's at, I'll know where to go look for it because I've been down there several times and I couldn't find it. So she said Ralph Lauren, so now I'll go that way. My question was, you had a list of different organizations that were going to be utilizing the workforce center. So I'm putting myself in the position of a resident of Prince George's County. So when you say social services, that's a service that many residents have a need for if, they don't have transportation, but they live in and around this area. When you guys advertise this, are we going to advertise it to let residents know exactly the dates and times that, for example, social services, a front end rep will be there? Because when you say social services, and if I'm a resident that's in need, I will understand that I could probably go there versus going up to Temple Hills or something like that. So can you explain how that works for the residents and how you plan to get the message out as to when these vendors, quote unquote, are going to be there, or organizations?
Sure. And yes, and to your first point, it is on the other side of the Ralph Lauren. And if you'll see it in between two billboards that say your career starts here. That door is the door in between the two billboards that say your career starts here. Related to the second point, I am typing into the chat. We have launched a virtual career center. It is www.pgccareers.com. And not only will that allow people to access services, we'll also be able to promote the services and schedule appointments. So we will notify people in our outreach of what days and what programs are operating, and they will be able to book an appointment for that specific day. And the admin assistant and the manager that are going to be staffing that center every day of the week for 40 hours, they might have to break it out to hours. They will be able to manage what partners are where at what time, what training programs, to make sure that the appointments are scheduled and people where they need to be. If a staff member gets sick and they're not there that day, they send out emails and phone calls to the people who have appointments that day to let them know the change. But you're correct. The goal is that they don't have to go to Temple Hills, Bright Seat Road, or Largo to access a person anymore, that a person would actually be in their region and they don't have to go outside of the area.
So am I correct in assuming that this is just not a walk-in, this is virtual?
So yes, they'll have both. What you all, I think, will love is there's something called meeting owls in every training room. And so people will be able to have about 10 people per classroom, but for everybody that logs in online, they will be able to stream the services in real time And so we can have people in a training room that are attending the training virtually and those that are in person. And the key to the smart boards is if they have a question, they can type in the question, the person leading the training, the question will pop up on the smart board, and that person, that staff member will be able to answer that question. So yes, it will be able to provide services in a hybrid and in person. And that hybrid service is what we've developed through, through COVID.
Okay, thank you.
Also, if you're coming in off of Oxon Hill Road, once you take the left or the right turn onto Tangier and take that left at the stop sign, it's just down on your left. It's the far left of the building, so it's easy to find. You just hit the parking lot and you down at the far end, and once you get out of your car, you're looking directly at it. So I would strongly suggest, if you have the opportunity to visit, please feel free to do that. Are the contractors still there, Walter?
No, we are actually past the contracting phase. They're doing some light touch-ups. We are actually just waiting on the signage to arrive and we can open. But again, we can do group one-on-one. You all let me know sometimes, I can provide my email is at the bottom of that attachment. Even if it's a one-on-one after someone gets off work, I'll walk you through the center.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether we can, as I did, most days I just walked in acting like I own the place, and I just kind of received, they treated me real good when they found out who I was. So, but the door was always open. So what you're saying now, the door is locked?
The door is locked because all of the equipment, everything's in there. But you give us a week notice, we'll make sure someone is there to meet with everybody's schedule.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Lattimore?
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm clear for myself. As a resident, when you say for services like social services, and I really focus on that because we have a lot of that need is really felt in Prince George's County in various areas. I wouldn't want to get the impression that if I need social services or want to talk to someone about social services, that I could go to the Workforce Development and Training Center once it's open in September. And I would just highly recommend that we let the county residents know that it's not like that.
Dr. Lattimore, I'm a little confused. I think they would be able to know that now when they arrive, even if they don't have an appointment, they still can see someone and get the initial. So I think I'm a little lost, but they might not be able to see if they show up on a day that social service isn't there. They'll still be able to meet with someone to do an initial assessment, collect whatever forms. So they will be able to get services, but I might have lost you, Dr.
I think you answered my question right there. So they could at least get some services, whether it's a form, direction, or something. I guess communication is key for me in Prince George's County, because if you're utilizing social services, you have a need, and I just want to make sure that need will be met by the Workforce and Development Center versus us sending them somewhere else or saying they have to come back on another day. And that's just really frustrating in some of the organizations that I work with. But you answered my question, and thank you again. And I'll be down there sometime this week or next week, because I was telling Ryan, I go there every day. I walk there, and I just couldn't find it. But now I know where it's at. I know where Ralph Lauren is at, so I'll find it.
I was just going to say, Dr. Lattimore, I would love to coordinate with you, and I'll go down there with you and we can hit the bridge right afterwards.
Oh,
let's do it. Let's do it. You all let me know. Let's do it. And yes, the staffing that I went through, so the partners might not be there every day, Dr. Lattimore, but the staff that I listed initially, we will have staff every day. And those are the staff, the admin, the career consultant, and the manager that will be able to provide services for people that come through those doors. But
Okay.
but let's definitely schedule a time next week if you all want to stop by there.
Hey, Dr.
Okay,
Lattimore,
thank
if I
you.
may, I mentioned Ralph Lauren. It's behind Ralph Lauren, so it faces Oxon Hill Road where the manor is, that part of Oxon Hill Road.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right, thank you.
Walter, do you hire through the personnel system or you just basically hire through contractual agreement?
No, their staff of Employ Prince George's. All of our staff are staff of Employ Prince George's, but we do have contracted service providers. So we're not providing the occupational skills training, the adult education. That's not our expertise. We're contracting a specific service provider that has expertise in the area, but the staff are our staff.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, do we have any other questions before we take this to a vote? Any other questions? Okay, so we're voting on fiscal year 2022, 8,653,300. Fiscal year 2023, 8,891,300. Fiscal year 2024, 9,136,200. Do I have a motion to accept the budget as it has been presented to us?
I move for the adoption of the multi-year spending plan for 21, 22, I guess it is. For the local.
Okay, do I have a second?
A second.
Second, motion by Senator Patterson, second by Kevin Harris. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the multi-year spending plan has been adopted. We will send a letter to the county executive approving the adoption of the multi-year spending plan. We passed that now. Do we have any new business? The only thing that since I've been serving on the redistricting commission as its chair, and that has kind of pulled me away from things for a quick second here. We will have our presentation to the county council on September 1. So I'll be back in the saddle and kind of pushing hard for the things that we have set aside. We still have to establish our needs assessment committee. That will be comprised of Kevin Harris, Senator Patterson, and Dr. I believe it was Dr. Say it again.
With the Paylor?
Yeah, Dr. Fraley. So I'll be talking to you guys. So we'll establish that. We've got 5 different areas: the grant selection committee, the oversight committee, the public relations committee, and needs assessment committee, and of course our legislative branch, which comprises of Senator Patterson, Delegate Valderrama, and Delegate Turner. So we will probably be establishing the last of the needs assessment committee with Kevin. If you don't mind, I'd like you to head that, and we can kind of go from there. Okay. So that's basically new business, and now we'll open up for public comment. Ryan, do you have any public comments?
I don't see any in the chat.
No, sir.
Go ahead. What'd you say, Ryan?
Nothing in the chat.
Okay. All right. Since we have nothing in the chat, we will override Senator Patterson and look for a motion to adjourn. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So move. A second. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Walker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. You guys have a good evening. Senator Patterson, I will be talking to you about some other stuff offline. If you don't mind, I'll give you a buzz probably in about 10 or 15 minutes.
That'll work. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, everybody, for your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr.
Ryan.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Ms. Mack, I didn't get a chance to acknowledge you. Please, that wasn't on purpose. Glad to see you this evening.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, ma'am. All righty.